For this Friday show, we've got some special guests with us today. I'm going to have everybody go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Brandy Chris Keaton. I am a special education teacher at Worth County Primary Center. I've been working with students with dyslexia my entire 18 career, and I have forefronted a dyslexia program at my school and am an advocate for those students.
And I'm Amy Ramsberg. I teach 9th grade English at Parkersburg High School. I have a master's in reading, and I contacted Senator Rucker at first about addressing dyslexia in our schools.
Hi, I'm Max, and I'm a child with dyslexia.
And I'm Misty, and I'm Maxim's mom, so I am the mom of a child with dyslexia.
Hi, I'm Nicole Kirby. I am the mother of 2 children with dyslexia, a wife of a dyslexia. My background is in education, and I'm also a member of the Bonnie Bailey Dyslexia Awareness Group.
All right, let's get started with our first question. So what is dyslexia?
I'd be happy to answer that for you. We prefer to use the IDA dyslexia definition. Dyslexia does fall under a specific learning disability recognized by the federal government under IDEA. It is neurobiological in origin. It is characteristics with difficulties with accurate, fluid word recognition. You could have poor spelling. You definitely have decoding abilities that you have difficulties with. You can also have a deficit in phonological components such as phonological awareness and memory. It is often unexpected because persons with dyslexia usually have average or above IQs. So for them to have an inability to read doesn't make sense in the school setting. There is effective classroom instruction that needs to address these reading issues directly based on what the child can do in as far as phonological awareness, vocabulary, and then into comprehension.
Perfect. So what are some common characteristics of dyslexia, and how does it impact a child in school?
Well, you can start as young as kindergarten and first grade. Children will begin to have troubles with rhyming. It doesn't come naturally to them. They struggle with hearing and reproducing letter sounds. They definitely are inconsistent with their memory and reproducing those sounds when they're taught. They don't pronounce words correctly. They may even confuse left and right, confuse their numbers, confuse their colors. They definitely have problems spelling, and frustration is a huge key.
So our next question is, what does this legislation accomplish?
Okay, well, it definitely starts at the State Department. The State Department would create guidelines and a list of screening tools, early literacy screening tools that would flag for areas of dyslexia, like Brandy mentioned. We would provide those screening tools to the local counties. And we would also have the State Department create guidelines and a list of diagnostic components that would be used in a comprehensive special education evaluation, and know when to use that tool. We would have specific interventions that would be for students with dyslexia, and then if they are given a diagnosis, they're either put into an IEP for special education services, or they're given a 504 with those accommodations, and the accommodations and instruction techniques would match the Science of Research and the International Dyslexia Association standards for what and why and how things need to be taught to students with dyslexia in the multisensory way that they would best learn to read. And then we would also especially need important professional development for our teachers, because so many of our teachers are inconsistent in the knowledge that we have about dyslexia. So we definitely need that training so that the whole state is on board and at the same level and on the same page with students with dyslexia. And then we need to provide informational materials to parents, because parents need to understand what dyslexia is, how it can impact their children, and the great things that they could do with their mind that works as dyslexic. It's not a disability, it's a different ability. And parents and kids need to know that, and we just need to adjust the whole way of thinking. The local counties would give those screeners K through 2 or 3 if they change the bill 3 times a year. And then if they're flagged on the screener, then they would get the intervention that they need. And if they're not responding to that intervention, then they're evaluated for a learning disability and dyslexia if it's appropriate. And then they get the diagnosis of dyslexia in their IEP or a 504, and the schools give them the proper instruction. And again, the parents are notified along the way and are very informed, and the teachers get the training that they need.
Perfect. So Nicole, can you share some of your experiences as a parent and advocate for dyslexic children?
As a parent of a dyslexic children, it's been very challenging because it's been an ongoing battle for 5 years. And we have in every single meeting been the people who are responsible for bringing the knowledge of instruction and knowledge of disability to the experts. And we've found a lot of resistance from the Board of Education members being unwilling to talk with us, to flat out bad information, like you can't work with. Oh, my dog's not working. We'll have to edit that too. Where you can't intervene with dyslexics because their eyes aren't formed yet, and other nonsense that really makes you question how schools are handling things. And then as an advocate, we do see that a lot of places are resistant to having their educational strategies challenged. But then we also see a great awareness by some counties that they know they're not the experts and they're willing to take all the help that they give. But West Virginia is a little bit of the desert when it comes to resources. People certified in structured literacy programs who are actually able to go out and help train the trainers. So that way our kids can all finally have equity brought to them.
Thank you. So Misty, can you share how having the proper diagnosis and instruction has helped your son, Maxon?
Yes, absolutely. In the past year and a half, once we finally got the diagnosis that Maxon did learn a different way, we did enroll him in a private dyslexia school. And when he was first started the school a year and a half ago, he was reading at a kindergarten level. A year and a half later, he is now reading at a 3rd grade level.
And Maxon, what do you think about dyslexia?
I have never known what it's like not to be dyslexic. Huh?
Talk. Come on, talk.
Oh.
Just talk. Conversation.
Okay, sorry.
Go.
I think that it doesn't mean you're stupid or smart. It just means you learn in a different way. And some things I struggle with, and some things I don't. And even the smartest people have dyslexia, like Albert Einstein and Elon Musk.
So why is this bill a good investment for our state?
So dyslexia has been recognized for quite some time across the country under IDEA, which is the federal special education protocols and policies. West Virginia is definitely lagging behind in its code to match that. I think not only is it the law already that we need to make this a law in the state and make sure it's uniformly followed through each 55 counties, but if we correct this on the front end and start supplying this, then we definitely save the State Board of Education and the local counties due process, which is legal action by parents for not properly serving their students.
And so what are the bill numbers?
So in the House right now, we have drafted the language that best meets all of the people that we have coordinated with, all of the correct legislative terms for the proper way to diagnose and treat. So right now, the House bill is still drafting at the Education Committee level. Now in the Senate, Amy,
We have Senate Bill 433, which is in the Education Committee. Right now, it's sitting there waiting for action.
So when self-advocates contact their lawmakers, what should they say?
They should definitely contact as many lawmakers as they can, because this is really important. For 1 in 5 kids in West Virginia are estimated to have some level of dyslexia, and they can just ask for support, ask to be a co-sponsor on the bill, support the bill, pass it the way that it is. We've worked so hard on this with so many people at so many different levels that the bill really is the best we could make it at this time. Of course, we always want more things, but what's in the bill is so many people and so many levels involved that we really need it to stay intact at the legislative level, because it addressed one specific code, and it needs to really stay in that one specific code. So anybody contacting legislator just needs to say, support this bill, co-sponsor this bill, say yes.
and it is so important because if you run to be either in the House or the Senate, you obviously have a love of our great state. And as my father, who is the chairman of the House of the Finance Committee, Vernon Chris, who is dyslexic, and there were multiple members of the House that came to support us the Friday that was Dyslexia Day at the legislation. They are so passionate, and if we want to truly make our state a beautiful, have human beings that can graduate and give back to our state, we really need to correct this problem. As she said, 1 in 5 children. So that means statistically, 4 kids out of every elementary school classroom should be treated for dyslexia. And the problem is, well, why does that matter? I don't have kids in school. Well, did you know that 80% of prison population are illiterate, and 48% of those people, it's because of dyslexia. So that's more than double the national average. So what's happening is these kids aren't learning to read. They're so defeated before they even get to the middle school. So how can they think about graduation, learning to get a driver's license, filling out a job application? They're so intimidated by all of that because they can't read. So how do you want to, on a basic foundation, improve West Virginia, improve the quality of people that live here and produce for our state? You have to give them help where help is needed.
Absolutely agree. Now, is there anything else that anyone would like to add? Oh, go right ahead.
I just want to add, like, being a mother, a parent, an advocate now for hopefully every child in the state who probably doesn't know that they are dyslexic. I want to just get out there, like, the screening is so important because if parents don't know what to look for, I certainly didn't know what to look for when I was with Maxon. I just knew from kindergarten that there was something that was different. And then I would just stay awake at night or wake up early in the morning. And I would just try to consume myself with information. And then finally, the phonistic dyslexia is what made the most sense. So if you don't know how the school system, there needs to be something implemented because it impacts every fiber of the family. Just putting the sounds together, not putting every child in a box to learn a certain way. I just can't even explain the amounts of heartache and tears and struggles that our family personally went through just trying to figure out that he did learn a different way, and that the word dyslexia changed our entire life because that is what finally made sense, and that's how he learns. He, learns a lot with, like, tapping sounds out, with the phonics, and that's what he had trouble with, was breaking down the words and the individual syllables. It was tough because he knew his numbers. He excelled at memorizing. So sight words, he excelled at because he could memorize them. And that's why it was so hard to get him diagnosed. But once we did, it just absolutely has changed his life and our life as a family.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very important topic that we need to get self-advocates behind and start to get those letters in and voice their opinions. And we appreciate you guys coming today to talk to us. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for giving us a public voice. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much.